what are the key features of Going Places? I think one of them is the topic-based nature of the course. And it's not only topic-based, it also has a lot of culture in it, systematic culture focuses, and it has a story as well. And I think these three things are very much interlinked. The story is very interlinked with the topics. Some books have a story and that's it, and some have a topic, but here we have both. So we try and interest different kinds of students and different kinds of teachers, and I think that's very important. So content, I think, is one of the key features of Going Places. Dave?
Yeah, for me, if we're talking about specific features, it would have to be the builders. We do a lot of language building, a lot of construction in Going Places. At a word level, we have word builders. We move on to sentence builders, and finally we're actually saying something in a full text with text builders. For me, I think that's quite innovative.
Yeah, I think it makes it a lot easier. One of the problems, I think, is that language, we think of the traditional grammar syllabus, the big grammar areas, but actually language is full of lots of little bits of micro grammar, and that's what we're trying to look at. And as you say, building up from word to sentence to text, I think, is interesting. And that relates to skills as well, because skills are very systematic in terms of the writing activities which give students build up input, and actually before we actually expect them to produce anything. And all of the skills here are closely integrated and carefully staged. And I think that's another important thing for learning and producing. You can't just throw students in and say, well, here you are, speak or write. You've got to build up to it and give them staging and help and support.
Well, I'm really just proud of the whole course, everything. I suppose in general that we've made it challenging but doable. Students are motivated by very, very interesting topics, but the tasks are fulfilling.
One of the things I would say in terms of what I'm proud of is the story, because I think the story, as I said before, fits in with topics, but it's also got things happening. A lot of ELT stories are just people sitting around and chatting, using useful language, and I think what we try and do is have things happening. It's got a little bit of romance, it's got accidents, it's got a fire, rescuing a cat, it's got dead fish. It's got all sorts of little things in, and it's got people being arrested, seeing ghosts, and I think that's interesting. And I think it's there. The story isn't the first thing in the book, but it is there to be used, and I think it's got things happening, and I think that's interesting for students to latch on to. Also, the characters have got personal development. We're talking about them overcoming difficulties and going places. They're actually going places in their life. Technology, well, yeah, I think that's a very important question. Technology is more and more important, and things are changing. I think there are a lot of things. Firstly, there are different situations around Spain first. It's not all the same everywhere. Secondly, different schools have a lot of different facilities. There's a lot of difference in that sense. And also there's a difference in the sense of teachers. It's not the same young teachers who are into technology, good with technology, who are into the digital generation, and people like me who are obviously not digital generation. And that's important. So I think it's important that there are a lot of differences. I think it's important that also each teacher and each school can use a course like Going Places in its own way. So you have all these options, but you can use the ones that you feel comfortable with. And there are a lot of options. The multi-ROM, the CD-ROM here has video on it, has a lot of interactive stuff. That is really good because interactive hands-on learning is good for the digital generation now that I mentioned before. That's one thing that's very important because it's interactive, it's hands-on. Students are much more sophisticated, and I think multimedia is very important to present things. And I think Going Places has the digital version for the interactive whiteboard, and this gives you as a teacher the opportunity to use the students' style, their learning style. So all of these things are very, very important, and we hope to be looking at other areas. You know, this is an ongoing thing. Pearson as a company and us as writers, we're ongoing looking at how we can actually extend technology to the classroom. It's something I think is very interesting. It's not just a matter of new technology, it's a matter of mixing methodology with technology. And I think technology enables us to become more learner-centered, more interactive, and it enables students to get involved a lot more.